lesson 21. So in lesson 20, we looked at, we were finding out all about how the king had basically taken all of the magical seals, and that Cole was realizing that he'd given him that seal, and that actually in this scenario, the king seems like he's the bad guy. So the last paragraph was, Mika answered, they say that when the king started to get greedy, some settlements hid their seals away so that he would never find them. Perhaps they were planning to recover them once he was gone, but no one expected, now we're up to it, him to live such a long time. We're not sure how he does it. So she's saying they're not sure how the king lives for so long. Never mind that, said Yognar, looking concerned. So concerned is worried. I'm more worried about this out of thin air magic. Remember, Cole said that the king made the cakes out of thin air. The seals can unlock the magic of the land, but I've never heard of it allowing someone to make things appear from nowhere. What did it look like, Cole? Cole described what had occurred in the king's chambers, and as he cradled his warm mug and let his mind absorb all this new information, something that the king had told him slipped into his thoughts. There are teoquat trees. They are grown of magic and bear a fruit called the teoquat, which, when eaten, has the most wondrous effects. When he relayed this to the small group, that's an interesting word. When he relayed, if you relay something to someone, you're telling them what happened. When he relayed this to the small group, Mika stood up at once. That's how he's doing it. He's found some tree that gives him magical powers. We've got to get our hands on that fruit. Yognar pulled Mika back down onto her seat. No, we do not, she said firmly. From what Cole has described, these trees sound like a mutation of the magic that has been cooped up and condensed with no room to grow. It's not natural, and those trees should be treated with great caution. If the king has been living off that fruit, I bet that all the natural energy stored in that well has been keeping him alive. There was a short... So that's strange, isn't it? That the king wanted Cole to eat that fruit. There was a short silence. The impact of everything that had been said seemed to hang in the air. Someone's got to tell the resistance, Piog stated finally. Now, we've already talked about this word, resistance. The resistance are the people who are fighting against the king. They're a group of freedom fighters. I won't hear another word, Yognar announced. Poor Cole must be worn out. Now, Cole, I'll make up a bed for you in front of the fire. The privy is the toilet, is a little shed around the back. Piog and Mika, will you go back up to the forest at first light so that we'll lead you back to the forest at first light so that you can go home. Cole nodded and yawned. He had not told the twins or Yognar that the king had offered Cole the chance to eat the teoquat fruit. Why would a king so obsessed with power choose to share it with what did they call it? An Elseworlder. He had called Cole special. Cole dragged himself into the pile of rugs that Yognar had heaped beside the hearth. So, there's no bed. She's just put a pile of rugs next to the fire. He thought that his family would know for sure that he was missing and must be looking for him, but he did not feel exhausted, and it must be late. As the family got comfortable in the bed by the wall, he closed his eyes. The image of King Enk, his lavish, so lavish is very expensive, lots of really nice things, his lavish palace, and the heady scent of the teoquat fruit dancing through his mind. So let's take a look at some comprehension questions. I'll read the extract. Yognar pulled Mika back down onto her seat. No, we do not, she said firmly. From what Cole has described, these trees sound like a mutation of the magic that has been cooped up and condensed with no room to grow. It's not natural, and those trees should be treated with great caution. So, I'd like you to explain what treated with great caution means. If you have to treat something with great caution, can you think of another way of saying this? Press pause while you do that. Welcome back. So to treat something with caution means to treat it very carefully. Now, this may be because it's precious. Imagine you have a precious ornament in your home or an artifact and you don't want to drop it. We'll say you must treat it with great caution. However, you might also need to treat something which is dangerous with caution, a dangerous animal, for example. So because these trees have got lots of magic and Yagna is saying they're not natural, they need to be treated with caution, so they need to be treated carefully or with care. I'm going to read the next extract. Cole dragged himself into the pile of rugs that Yagna had heaped beside the hearth. He thought that his family would know for sure that he was missing and must be looking for him, but he did feel exhausted and it must be late. As the family got comfortable in the bed by the wall, he closed his eyes, the image of King Enk, his lavish palace, and the heady scent of the teoquat fruit dancing through his mind. So apart from exhausted, how else does the author, the person who wrote this, show Cole is tired? Press pause while you find the other way the author shows that he is tired. Okay, so it is Cole dragged himself into the pile of rugs. So remember, the pile of rugs is his bed. He didn't just walk to it, he dragged himself. That means he was feeling very tired and it was almost difficult to walk. He was so tired. Right, it's the same extract, but this time you have a different question. Which word is closest in meaning to luxurious? Something is luxurious if it is very expensive and a nice, for example, a nice place to be. It has lots of expensive cushions and nice food. So a very expensive house, we often say it is luxurious. Can you find the other adjective, which is a synonym of luxurious? Press pause while you do that. Okay, so the answer is lavish. Lavish is a synonym of luxurious. That's the end of lesson 21. Thanks for taking part, and I'll see you next time for lesson 22.